Hello, and welcome to our presentation on cinnamon and its effects.
The common name is cinnamon or Ceylon cinnamon or Mexican cinnamon. The scientific name is Cinnamomum vermum. There is, however, other types of cinnamon such as Indonesian cinnamon, Vietnamese cinnamon, cassia cinnamon, or also known as Chinese cinnamon. Cinnamon is a bushy evergreen tree of the laurel family, and the spice derived from its bark. The spice consists of the dry inner bark and has a delicately fragrant aroma and a warm, sweet flavor. Cinnamon is grown in Sri Lanka, formerly Ceylon, in which it is native to, the neighboring Malabar coast of India, and Myanmar, which is also known as Burma. It is also cultivated in South America and the West Indies. It is softer and lighter in color and rolled in layers, whereas the others are darker, hard, and hollow and rolled in one layer. Cinnamon is used to flavor a variety of foods, confections, curries, beverages, and baked goods in many places. The essential oil distilled from its bark fragments is also used in food, liquor, perfume, drugs, cinnamon supplements, and cinnamon-scented byproducts. For harvesting, when a cinnamon tree is around 2 years old, farmers cut the plant to the size of a stump and cover it with soil. This technique causes it to grow like a bush, with new shoots emerging out all the time. It's these shoots that are used to make cinnamon. Once cut, the shoots are stripped of their outermost layer of cinnamon bark, and the peels are set out to dry in the sun. They were once soaked in water to become moist. As this happens, the bark naturally curls into quills or sticks. Once dry, the quills can then be cut into sticks and packaged accordingly to a set of shared qualities. Cinnamon is usually sold in quill form and is usually characterized by a sweet smell and light brown color. It's thin and has a crumbling texture, so it can be ground easily using a coffee grinder.
Here is a quick video that shows how cinnamon is harvested and processed.
Our cinnamon journey is taking us to Kannur on the north coast of Kerala, a place christened the Great Emporium of Spice Trade by none other than the intrepid sailor Marco Polo. Kannur with her beautiful undeveloped beaches. Our destination, a cinnamon plantation, one of the few surviving ones. Most have given way to developmental pressures. We are in time to witness the harvesting. It's an evergreen tree, not tall, but bushy. Without any fuss, the farm worker chooses the branches to cut. The aroma of cinnamon intensifying with each sickle stroke. The leaves are aromatic too. The familiar bay leaf or tej patta.
Normally, when it is diameter is whatever you can hold in your hand, that is the best method. If you if you know that it is so big, you can harvest it.
Cinnamon is ready for harvesting after 3 years of growth. Its diameter thickens and the bark inside becomes viable and pungent. These logs of cinnamon wood will yield the spice, but the process long and intense. These farm workers are skilled. Their knives scrape the outer bark to reveal the lighter, fragrant inner bark. Their knives slide and the inner bark separates easily. Thin, curled, light in color, its aroma sweet and heady. It's a labor-intensive process, one of the very reasons why cinnamon cultivation is no longer viable. The thin inner barks curl naturally. The shavings are precious too. Scraped off with deft strokes, they are stuffed inside the curled, bigger pieces. Tied with threads. This is how quills are made. Their aroma retained for a longer time. They will dry, first in the shade for a day and then in the sun for a few days. As they dry, they will lose moisture and contract. The heady aromatic oils locked in.
The chemical constituents of cinnamon include cinnamaldehyde, cinnamic acid, cinnamyl acetate, and numerous other essential oils. The cinnamaldehyde is thought to be what causes the spicy taste and the fragrance of cinnamon. And there's a total of around 80 different constituents within cinnamon. The positive effects of cinnamon use can include decreased symptoms in women with dysmenorrhea, improvement in insulin sensitivity, improvements in the level of low-density lipoprotein cholesterol, improvements in arthritic symptoms and inflammation, and decreases in the amount of plaque on teeth and helps gingivitis inflammation. There are also studies that have shown there could be more positive effects, but there's also been other studies that have conflicted with some of the research. So as of right now, these are the known effects, but there very well could be more. There actually hasn't been a lot of research into the adverse effects of cinnamon use, but there are some studies that included some adverse reactions that some study participants have had during other types of research involving cinnamon. The most common adverse effects over these studies have included gastrointestinal issues such as stomachache, nausea, constipation, diarrhea, and heartburn, headache, dermatological issues such as hives or rash, and cough, fever, throat irritation, body aches, and headaches in people who have seasonal allergies. More research needs to be done on the potential adverse effects of cinnamon.
Is effect dose dependent? The effective doses of cinnamon for specific health benefits can vary. For blood sugar control, it is recommended to use doses ranging from 1 to 6 grams per day. Cassia cinnamon contains higher levels of coumarin, which can be harmful in large amounts. A tolerable daily intake of coumarin would be at 0.1 milligram per kilogram of body weight. There's no specific dose recommended for anti-inflammatory effects, but including a moderate amount of cinnamon in your diet may contribute to potential health benefits. OD and dependency potential. Cinnamon contains a compound called coumarin, as mentioned before, which in high doses, especially over an extended period, could contribute to health issues such as hepatotoxic liver damaging effects. Symptoms of cinnamon overdose include nausea, vomiting, and in several cases, liver damage. Cinnamon is not associated with physical or psychological dependence. People do not develop a craving or an addiction to cinnamon through normal culinary use. However, it's essential to distinguish between the culinary use of cinnamon and the use of concentrated cinnamon extracts or supplements, which could potentially lead to adverse effects if taken in excessive amounts. Cultural rites and religious uses. Cinnamon has been used symbolically in many cultures. For example, Egyptians used the spice for many tasks, such as embalming. They also used it to both add flavor to food and for certain religious rites. During the Middle Ages, Europeans began to regard cinnamon as a kind of status symbol. The reasoning being that only a very wealthy person could manage to obtain an exotic spice from the East. Cinnamon is also used to block negative energy, spiritual or psychic attacks, and is common ingredient in spells and rituals for prosperity and success.